Okay, so I got my stitcher cord, so.
Go.
Hey, Ina.
Let's go, Rick.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep, go.
What's that? What you say, Doug?
I said go.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Young, another segment of What's in Your Hand. Okay. I don't see me on the screen there. And my guest today is a phenomenal, incredible woman, amazing woman, playwright, actor, performer, teacher. I go on and on, but we'd be here all day running out your resume. So I don't know. I tell you what, tell the audience some of the plays that you have written.
Hi, everyone. Greetings. Good evening. Some of the plays that I've written, Nobody Loves a Black Little Girl When She Becomes a Woman, A Secret Lies Inside My Sister's Womb, Ain't Your Mama Crying on the Pancake Boxcar, The Turnstile Warrior, Danny's Waltz, and Don't Play That Song for Me, and some others that, you know, I could go on and on.
Well,
I have some films that I've written also, Until the Last Eagle Flies, First Fruit, Last Tingle in Harlem. So, there's a number of things.
Well, let's do this the right way. I want to start by paying tribute to your father. And your father just recently made his transition. Now, when exactly did that happen?
Okay, on April 15th of this year, my father made his transition. It is very personal to me on how people deal with the coronavirus, because on January 15th, 2020, my father was at an event that I gave on Martin Luther King's birthday with the Kwanzaa Film Festival. He was up and running, helping my mother fix up the food, because at the film festival, Kwanzaa means first harvest. So at our festivals, we feed everyone. And so, my mom, she cooks, and my father gets everything together, and he usually does the libation for the film festival. So in December, he did the libation. And this time, Martin Luther King's birthday, he just came and helped and support, as always, greeting a lot of people, taking pictures. And then March 22nd, I saw my dad, and, he was fine. He was, my father was a very active man, type to go to the gym, plan a vacation every summer. And I am saying all this for a reason, because some people don't understand what pre-existing conditions mean. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are actively sick. It can mean that you are of a certain age. It can mean that you've had your diabetes in check for years, never been hospitalized, under control. My father's diabetes was under control. His blood pressure was better than mine, and yet and still the coronavirus will find that weakness in your body and take control. So you don't have to be sick from your pre-existing condition. You could be managing it really well, depending on where the coronavirus lands. If it lands in your heart, lands in your brain, it can land in your nose, it can land in your stomach, it can land whatever lands, and it can do damage. I personally feel, as much, I want to honor my father. My father was a retired police officer, but more so than being a retired police officer, he was an activist. He was willing to go out for all of these different causes, Black Lives Matter, whatever was going on at the time that he felt there was an injustice. My father was there. He actually went after he passed. When I went in his car and I saw all of these voters registration drive, voters registration forms, he traveled with that, because my father, as I was told, would knock on every single door in his neighborhood the election day to make sure that everybody went. He would go from street to street to street. And this was he was very adamant about voting. So, it was a great loss to not only me, to a lot of people who called him father that he didn't actually birth, but a lot of people felt he was their father, and it was a great loss to a community. He was very active in his community, and I could go on and on. But what I do say to everyone, please vote in the name of my father, that man out of, I know you don't do political things, but it's personal now. Everyone, please vote. That's all I can say.
Call his name.
My father's name is John Norris, Sr. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
how old was he? Yo, Doug, she froze up. She froze. Andy, you might have to go back out and come back in, like you froze. Hey, Doug. Okay, so I hope Doug is close. Yeah, I think Anna froze.
Take the think out.
Huh?
Take the think out. She definitely is frozen.
Yeah.
She's definitely frozen.
If you can hear me, go
out. Yeah, I don't think she can hear you.
Huh?
Her microphone is not working. I can tell that.
Yeah. Okay.
So she's got let me send her a chat message. Let's see if we can send her a little chat and tell her to.
Yeah, she was.
I heard her talking about her dad.
Huh?
I heard her talking about her dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what?
You asked her how old he was.
Huh?
You asked her how old he was.
Yeah, that's when she went into the frozen zone.
Yeah, you might have to call her.
When she called me and told me, man, tears came down my eyes, man.
Really?
Yeah. I met him. I met him a few times. Like she said, he was always at her events, support her. And he was an active dad. Huh?
He was always at her event, you said?
He was always there. He was a supporter of his daughter at her events, the things that she was doing. He was there, helping out. Wow. He was an active dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Wait a minute. No, I thought her mic might be on. No, you're gonna have to.
Did you check? Should I go out and text her?
Yeah, go out and call her and tell her to come back in. In the meantime, we'll keep everything going until you get.
Okay.
So Rick Young gets back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of What's in Your Hand with your host, Mr. Rick Young, and today he's interviewing Miss Ina Norris, who is the a playwright. And she was just talking about her dad and what's going on with her dad. So. Okay, Rick's back. Sounds like Rick is back on, and I think he's gotten contact with her. He hasn't turned his mic up yet, but we're still here. Oh, that was me. We're good. Drop my radio.
Hey, Doug, I just spoke to her, and she'll be back in.
Okay, great.
She'll be back in a minute.
Okay, great. That's good to hear, man. And yeah, I'm just mentioning that you had just asked her how old her father was. That was your last question. She didn't get a chance to answer that, but that was the last question, which was what is your, how old was your dad? That was your last question. So maybe when she comes back in, she'll be able to articulate that. Okay, got your camera ready? You're from another location. You're from another location and you're ready. Yeah. She hasn't gone yet. So, what did she say? Did you tell her? You told her to go out and come back in, Rick? Rick? Rick, can you hear me now? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with the, we'll restart the interview as soon as we get the participants back. So just hold tight. Thank you.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Hi, I gotta use my
There
phone.
you go. Wow.
I think it was my internet. It all something went
Huh?
off. I think it may have been my internet.
You got your mic on?
Excuse me?
I can't hear you right now. I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Make sure I got my volume on. How do I do this?
No, we can hear her. We can hear her fine, Rick. We can hear
Can
you
you hear
fine.
me now?
Yeah, we hear you fine. We can't hear. Rick's the one that can't hear you. We can hear you fine. I hear you fine.
I think my engineer might be in the middle of something else.
We can't hear you, Rick. You don't have on your headphones.
I hear him talking in the background. You hear somebody talking?
We can't hear. Rick, you can't hear us.
Ina, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
He can't hear us.
Ina, can you hear me?
Yes.
He can't hear us, Ina.
But you.
No, I'm shaking my head.
I see that. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Ina.
So it's really
I can't hear you.
Yeah, it's him. It's him.
You got your mic on?
Yes, you don't have on your headphones, man.
Let me text
I can't hear you.
We can hear you. I know. Okay, I'm gonna text him too.
Oh, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
You can hear what? You hear Rick? Can you hear us, Rick?
Yeah, I can.
All right, we couldn't. We can hear you. You couldn't hear us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody can hear everybody. Go. The last question you were asking her was how old was her dad?
Okay, so wait a minute. Who's doing this show? You're doing this show, or I'm doing this show?
I just was reminding you of what the last question you were asking. That's all I was doing, bro. I was trying to help you.
Are you an engineer? Or are you a talk show host?
I was letting you know what the last question was. If you don't want to, you don't have to deal with it, man. We don't have to deal with that.
I think you need to stay in your lane, brother, because you know.
I told you, I'm not getting in the box to ring with you. Stop that.
If the price is right, you'll do it. So Ina, we were talking about your dad. Let me just say this real quick, because every time you said this, and you said it to me numerous times, and every time you said it, I loved hearing it. You said, my parents been married for over 50 years, and they still hold hands.
63 years.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So with 63 years, one of the things that I found very endearing was as I went through, his journals, and, I saw some of the poems and the beautiful love messages he sent to my mom. He wrote poems to her, and they really had a wonderful, genuine love story, honestly, going on all the way through all 63 years. It was a very, very special relationship. Still holding hands, still dating. My mom told me this story. It's really very sentimental, but my mom said, she's like, me and your dad we were just different. She's like, and she's talking about this year. She said, like, I'll give you for instance, she's like, he could be downstairs in the basement and I could be in the room. And that song by India Ari, Steady Love would come on, and we would rush into the kitchen and we would just dance. You know, in that moment, it just was so profound that they both would know that this is what they're gonna do, and they would still love that to do. And and a lot of times when couples get older, they sleep in separate rooms and they don't do the things my parents did together. So, that was a lot. It
Woo!
was just a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, you kind of remind me of India Arie a little bit.
People say that to me all the time.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, when,
she's got a beautiful spirit like you. You know,
thank you.
have you ever met her before?
Let me think. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but if I did, I don't know.
Okay.
I would love
I haven't
to
heard
hear
anything
though.
from her lately, music wise.
Oh yeah, she has a new album out. Very, very profound music, historical music. I mean, yeah, you just gotta check it out. She has a great,
Mm,
great. My mother
okay.
plays her every day, so I know.
I interviewed her mother.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. Up at the college at the radio station. Yeah, that was a special moment. I really enjoyed that. So to finish up with your father, how's your mother doing now?
My mom is taking it one day at a time. I actually stayed out there with her for like 3 months, and
Hmm.
my other sister is still going back and forth. It's an adjustment when you've been with someone for 63 years of your life,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's only the only man you ever known, period. It's just a big adjustment. Most women of today don't know what that's about. We don't have
yeah,
the same
yeah.
experience of having to be just, being loyal to one person, building a strong foundation, building your children with that person, and still being friends. And they would sit at the kitchen table and talk for hours. You wouldn't think that they saw each other all the time,
Oh my God.
but they did. And it was just a wonderful thing. But right now she's doing really good. I think one of the things is, I mean, of course we're hurt that our father, we would never imagine that it would be like a coronavirus situation, a governmental mishap on how dealing with the virus made all of these people, a lot of people died needlessly because wrong information. Don't go to the hospital, don't do this. Asking people in their 80s, 70s to diagnose themselves at home. It was a travesty. However, because of the way we were raised and because of my father's strength and the way that he was, it somehow empowers us to think bigger than our own feelings and just really get a grip and just move on to do what he did, which was help a lot of people. He was always
Mhm.
serving people and helping people. And my mom also. And so her whole thing is like he used to go to meetings. Now I got to go to those meetings and I got to, state certain things. So I think that gives us a little, makes us feel like he's still here in a sense, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm. Now, how would you feel if someone wanted to date your mom? How would you feel about that?
Well, it's certainly very, 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 very early to think like that.
Right.
My mom turned 80 this year.
Hmm.
Okay. So she turned 80. Um, I don't even know. I all I can say is that right now we're just hoping that she feels she's happy and that we've been just surrounding her around with grandchildren coming by. We just been like doing little celebrations of people's birthdays, just kind of, because she was born July 1st, the same week as you. So we just been keeping her company with different events, and I think that's what's bringing her joy right now is just seeing her grandchildren and her great grand. So we're not on that page at all.
Yeah. When was your father's birthday?
February 27th. and he
Okay.
turned 84.
Huh?
He had turned 84.
Is he a Aries?
No, he's a Pisces.
It's February 27th, right?
Yeah, that's Pisces.
Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, well, wow, man. I met it. When I got that text from you, tears came down my eyes.
No.
Yeah, because I met him a few times. He was at your events, and his spirit. He had a beautiful spirit.
Thank you. He
And
absolutely.
yeah, and he was a kind man, nice man. And I think I used to joke with him and say, "Hey, man, y'all got to start doing seminars and workshops," because you would always tell me that 50 years. You said 63, but I mean 50 years, and they would still hold hands.
You know what's so interesting, Ricky? This year, when it was their anniversary, which was March 16th, one of my friends, her name is Flora, she said, Ina, tell your sister to interview your parents about their marriage. Tell her to videotape it. We had talked about it before, but somehow she just drove it home. So I called my sister and I said, interview mommy and daddy about being married. And not knowing that my father was going to die actually a month later, my sister interviewed them about their marriage. So
wow,
there is an interview that she did on March 15th. My father died April 15th.
Wow.
In reference to being married that long.
Wow.
Yes.
Woo. Wow. So not to change the subject, but
okay.
What does the word success? What does success mean to you? Not the word, but just what does success mean to you, Ina Norris?
Well, that word success has meant different meaning on different stages of my life. But for me, success is living in your purpose and answering your divine calling.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to,
No, go ahead, continue.
There is no way to literally be able in your mortal body to really understand what success is on the outside. And what I mean is, some people may be born to save one person's life. That might be what their success is, right? So in our mortal body, in our just regular, we think, oh God, Jay-Z's successful, Beyonce's successful, or Trump is successful when he may not be. Maybe it's that person that ran into an abandoned building that was on fire and saved that person's life. So there's a difference between material success and just success. That's what I.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's So you said live your purpose, and then what did you say about your divine purpose? Your divine.
Answer to your divine calling.
What's that? I didn't hear the first part.
And to answer to your divine calling.
Oh. Right. Wow, that's pretty powerful. You know what I noticed also? Creative imagination. A lot of people, for some reason, as they get older, when they're little, they use it, but as they get older, they only use it in certain instances. But I don't think they use it. I don't think we use it enough. That creative imagination. Why do you think that is, and how can we use our creative imagination more?
Again, when we allow others to define our lives and we allow our age to define where we put a should, like, oh, if I'm this age, I should be doing this, when creativity and ability and someone said talent, it is ageless. Creativity is ageless, right? But some people will teach you and to suppress your creativity, or maybe even some of the ideas you want to do. Or why are you doing that now? I mean, you should have did that when you were younger. That is not, that's like saying you got a cure for cancer, but you should have did that when you was younger. Don't cure cancer right now because you should be in a retirement home.
Yeah.
If you have the ability, if you have the creativity, if you have the imagination and you have the talent, it is ageless. And that is one of the things that we need to really look at, because we are actually shutting down a whole bunch of people that could be still contributing to a whole bunch of things because of our own limitations of the way that we think about growing older.
One of my favorite quotes from Reverend Ike. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy named Reverend Ike.
Of course I did.
He says, "Go into the theater of your mind and the stage of your imagination." I love that quote. When you hear those words, what becomes present for you? Go into the theater of your mind and the stage of your imagination.
Yeah, I was telling someone the other day, I don't know who was, one of my friends, and I was saying, I could be anywhere because I live in my mind. So you think you have to be at this perfect place to do this thing. You can only be happy if you're here, and you can't be happy within yourself, then you're in limitation because your mind can take you wherever you want to go. So I feel like that's what he means, to go into the theater of your mind, and then you can go, you can imagine whatever you want, and you can actually challenge yourself to live out some of the things that you've imagined, right? So that's what I think.
You know, and the other thing is that, you know, we were talking about success. This is just my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I believe that a lot of people feel that they don't deserve success or deserve to become a high achiever. That's what I think. What do you say?
I think you are so right, because you see how people begin to sabotage themselves or others. And you can also see how people think about themselves through the way that they behave with other people too. I agree with you. I think that people begin to sabotage themselves because they don't know that they deserve it, or there was something they were taught that they can't have it all. You know, when people say, well, I can't have this and have that. I only can have this little piece. You know, when you could probably do more than one thing and you might have it all. Paul Robeson was a lawyer. He was a writer. He was a football player. He was an activist. He did a lot of things at the same time. So therefore, you can have it all if you believe. You have to believe it first.
Right. Wow. I'm taking notes as you're speaking, so that's, you may hear me hesitating a little bit, but I'm taking a little notes here as you're speaking, because this is, you know, in the past, you've said some things, some wisdom to me. You shared wisdom that really enlightened me. And here's the funny thing. I got this friend, Robert E. Kreiner. His name is, I don't know if you ever met him, but Robert E. Kreiner, he lives in Oklahoma and also Texas. But his middle initial is E. So he calls himself Mr. Enthusiasm. So my middle initial is W. So I was like, wait a minute, I've been knowing him for a long time. I said, you know what? Let me come up with something for my middle name. What do I want my middle name to mean? And I said, okay, wisdom. So I am seeking and want to learn more about this thing called wisdom. And you have shared a lot of wisdom with me. Can you speak to that?
Well, I mean, I think the wisest thing that I could say is to think that you need to learn, keep yourself open to learning more. Once you think that there's a particular place or a particular plateau where you should stop learning, that's not a wise thing. Okay. Wisdom is definitely patience, definitely being humble, all of those things. And I think just always keep learning. That's how I look at wisdom. Learn from your mistakes as well. And also learn from other people too. Yeah. But you've also did the same thing with me, Ricky. I mean, You challenged me to keep in front of me positive.
Oh, your sound went out, Anna.
The books that you would suggest. We've gone to different meetings. I often quote these meetings. Remember, I think we went to something like Sales Genie or something or another. I learned something there. Remember when we went to a place where we had to practice bragging about ourselves because
Oh,
people
wow. I forgot all
are
about that.
yeah, they're uncomfortable saying nice things about themselves because we've been taught not to say nice things about ourselves.
Wow. I
And
forgot
so
all
we had
about that.
actually spend like 5 to 10 minutes bragging about ourselves and forcing ourselves to say nice things about ourselves. And I never even realized that that was an uncomfortability for myself and for others. And I always remember that. And I was like, wow, I tell the young people that I work with, say something good about yourself unapologetically, So yeah, we've been through a lot. We've done a lot, and I've learned a lot through you as well.
Right. Okay, so I I've been doing these interviews, we're doing this 30-day motivational success series. So you're a
Oh,
part of that, Anna.
okay.
And my engineer Doug, he was a basketball player. And I used to like basketball. I played a little bit too, just a little bit. I played a little bit. More in the park, in the gym. And I started on the monkey bars. He always laughed when I say I started on the monkey bars. I don't know why he laughed about that. But we had some
Sounds
great
fun.
games,
Okay.
official games on the monkey bars. So what I've been doing is asking everybody, like mostly I have like motivational people. So I've been asking them who are their starting 5 top motivational people. And let's see, I'm gonna give you mine now. Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, and Jamobu. Jamobu. You know what that is? Jamobu.
No.
Jamobu is Jesus, Moses, and Buddha. So I put them into like one, so I can get 3 in 1. Jesus, Moses, and Buddha. Those are my top success 5.
You're gonna flip when you hear mine.
Okay.
I have this person in my life, and she follows me around. And sometimes I'm not being conscious because, see, I could read a book, I could watch a motivational speaker, but they don't see me on my daily life. But there's this person that if I say, shoot, I'm tired, I can't do it. Grandma, how you gonna say you tired and you can't do it? Words is power, Grandma. Words is power. You gotta watch what you say. Oh my God, I'm tired of this coronavirus. Grandma, don't say you tired of corona. Don't put that in your life. Don't. My granddaughter, on the day of Martin Luther King's birthday, she grabbed the mic to me and she gave a phenomenal speech at 8 years old that had people calling the next week saying, she really touched me. And one thing she just said is that we need more leaders. And so I would say she is a motivational speaker, and she's only 8 years old. And I like the fact that she tries to motivate me, that when she sees me say something negative, she corrects me every time. Watch your words, Grandma. So she is one for me.
What's her name?
Her name is Sanaa Marshall.
Spell that?
Sanaa Marshall. SANAA.
SAN.
SANAA.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, you know what? Hey, listen, we got room. We need more motivators.
Oh my God, she
We
is
need
a
more
trip.
motivators. So she got a job already.
It's amazing how she interprets life, and she's on the money about how to, keep yourself motivated. Of course, my dad, he was into affirmations, and he also, all our life, low aim is crime. He always was very motivating. He would always send me motivational words. Then I want to say Ayanna Flessant. I feel that she has, I read a lot of her books and I also follow her. She just definitely has a way of making you think about your actions and also your communications with other people. Oprah, I will have to say in my earlier days, Oprah. I don't know, not so much now, but Oprah I would follow on a constant. And then people like you and people that, actually I could reach out and touch, because those people kind of really know me. So they speak into me. And so like you, Ricky, and some other friends that will say, keep going when you don't want to, I do so many things. And, sometimes I was just saying that I spend a lot of time, talking to people and trying to push them and to, like, you don't even realize how, if you send me a quote or something, that's like somebody having my back with change, because I do push a lot of people. I do motivate a lot of people. And I sometimes need it just as well on in a personal way.
So I'm wearing this hat now, PMA, positive mental attitude. When you hear that term, what becomes present for you? PMA.
Yeah, it's very important. It is very important. A positive mental attitude is like life and death. If you don't drink a cup of positive mental attitude each day, you are slowly dying spiritually. It is very important because things are going to happen, unexpected happening, just like my father passing was unexpected. This whole
Yeah.
corona thing, they had to lay us off on a job. But if you can't find something positive out of something negative, it's going to take you over. And it's very important to keep a positive mental attitude. It is something that you have to check yourself on all the time to make sure that that's what you're leaning on.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that this is coming from me. This is what I think. Doesn't mean it's factual, but this is what I feel. I feel that the issue with people, us human beings, the problem, the challenge, the adversity, is this thing called communication.
Yes.
Most of us are not good communicators. And so that caused a breakdown in the problem. What do you say about that?
Well, communication is key. Communication is key, because what happens is that to be a good communicator is you gotta not always want to be understood. You have to want to understand someone else. Most of us are talking to be understood. Understand me, but they don't want to understand someone else. It is very key that you listen and you don't respond immediately. Sometimes someone says, I remember when we were in college, somebody would put a sign on the door and she's like, nobody come in. I don't want to talk to anybody. Of course, that means knock on a door. I want to talk to someone, because you wouldn't put a sign up in front of your door if you wasn't trying to attract that attention. So intent means a lot. Sometimes we hang on every word that someone says, and because we have a story behind that word made us feel a certain way, we may misinterpret what somebody else may mean. So I think communication is like everything. I think it's something we definitely need to examine,
Well, it's obvious that your mother and father had a great communication. I mean, 63 years, that's great communication.
Well, I think one of the things I do remember about being young is that during dinner, we ate dinner. We had a dinner time, 5:30. And after we would eat, we couldn't run off the table. We would have to all sit there and talk. So we would have to talk around that round table, not a square table, a round table, which is, I never knew that it's recommended for the table to be round because people communicate better in a round table. And then that was the key. One of the things is, in every way, I remember They communicated about everything from finances to how
Wow.
they raised their children, what they believed in. They had a lot of commonality, but it was communicated. The ideas were there, and we saw that relationship, and we were part of it. So yeah, that was I think that was the special thing, is that we would sit around that table and we would talk. And even when we got older, that's what we would do. We would go. It wasn't like, okay, we go to mom's house and the TV got to go on. But no, we still would sit around that table and talk, because we have been doing that since we were little.
Mhm. Okay, Ina, I don't know if you're ready for this question right now. This is a big one,
Give me,
Ina. Huh?
give me a
Are you
hard
ready?
question. Okay.
This is that question. I want for Ina Norris to say what your ultimate goal dream is. And wait a minute, and I want this goal to be so outrageous that when I hear it, I go, nah, no way. Nah, she can't do that. That can't be done. Give me an ultimate crazy dream, crazy goal.
Ooh,
Outrageous.
outrageous.
Just lose your
I
mind.
am still okay. My ultimate goal is to build an empire. I would like to have at least 50 employees. It is going to be film, television, and publishing. I also want to have a attached to this empire that I'm building that will be, $1 billion. I would have a school attached so that everyone that is on staff can mentor someone into that field. I would like the media arm to be a catalyst for improvement in our society and helping others to learn things like you just mentioned: communication, history, love of one another. Love is like an underrated thing here. People don't realize that we need to learn how to love, and we need to learn how not to be so pessimistic. Like, there can be a way that I do believe that there should be peace in the world, like in the whole entire world. And that's what I would be working
Right.
on. I mean, is that big enough? Like, I feel
Well,
like I didn't go big enough.
yeah. Like Tyler Perry, like he built that whole big
Right.
studio in Atlanta. Like they were saying, go to California, but he went to Atlanta. He kind of
Yeah.
he stepped out the box and he used his creative imagination, which he's a very creative person, and he got that big studio in Atlanta. I mean, look what he
Yes.
did. He's putting people to work. People are working.
Because your success is the success of others. You cannot be successful if you're just planning on, my whole idea is that, you build a company so that you put people to work. And like one time someone said to me, and it was the biggest compliment I ever got. She said, "You're a dream giver." And that's what I want to do. I would want to give people their dreams as I build my dreams.
Uh-huh. Wow. So let's say someone came to you, said, "You know what? I've been watching you. I like the work you're doing. I want to. You have unlimited cash flow to do a project, one project. I'm gonna bankroll your project, or just one.
Mhm.
And what is that project going to be?"
If it was one project,
Yeah.
that is so hard. But I would produce the film Nobody Loves a Black Little Girl When She Becomes a Woman. I wrote it as a film. It's called Nobody Loves Soul. And I figured that if I was to do it as a film, I'll make enough money to do all the rest of my projects.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about? It's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. I mean, the world is like, whoa. I mean, here go a disease, a virus that's affecting the whole world. It's never happened before. I don't know what happened in 1970. I don't know if it hit the whole world. How do you feel about what's happening today? All these things that's happening in the world today. Political elections, viruses.
Wow. I got a lot to say, but I'm going to try to keep it short. For one, okay, the virus is a wake-up call, because virus doesn't have any kind of, it's hitting Black people and brown people harder because of things that were in place. But don't forget, it's also hitting everybody, every ethnicity and every income bracket. However, it is blatantly showing the disparity among Black and brown people. And we need to look at that. And the virus, we shouldn't like just take it like, oh, it's just a virus. No, people are dying. It is Black Lives Matter even within the virus, because we're not getting the proper care. We're not getting tested, all of that. That's one thing. The second thing is that there's a time and place for everything. I hear people say, stuff about the elections. They're trying to find every negative thing that they could find about Biden or Kamala, and that is just that's a pessimistic, fatalistic attitude. That is a person that doesn't want to find the opening in the cave. They just want to stay in the dark. You got to find the light at the end of the tunnel. It may not be the light, it might be a flashlight, but if it's a light, we're in a dark tunnel right now. Okay, we are in a place we've never been before, but we've never had a president like the president we have now. So therefore, we have to actually put aside our egos and humble ourselves and know that self-empowerment is not who's in office, but there is, better government that could allow you to have a better grasp of your dreams and your hopes and your goals. This one is trying to suppress a lot of things, suppress voting or what have you. So I'm really here. I'm going to support whoever's running against Trump. I'll say it. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it on the air, but I will be 100% supporting a Black vice president, and Biden, who supported a Black man to be for president. And yes, the bar and we don't you don't vote for somebody just because they're Black. And some people voted for Trump just because he was a white man. And that's just a fact. Okay, so and they got him in office, but everybody that is running on the other side is qualified. So I don't have a problem voting for someone who's qualified. Are they perfect? Do they agree with your own husband? Your own family will not agree with you on every single thing. That's an unrealistic goal. If you think that you're going to agree on every single thing about a person, everybody has something. So right now we just need to bond together. I did a survey. I put on Biden 2020. I put the question, and about 250 people answered. I posed the question to white women. I said, as a white woman, would you have a problem passionately voting for a Black female vice president? And out of 250 women, the answers were astonishing. It's about time. No criticism. Yes, they're very powerful. They're very confident, blah, blah, blah. But that same question asked for our people, which I know we have injuries. I know that we have issues. The criticism, it's sad. The criticism is a reflection of who you are, not a reflection of the other person. So I think that we need to really look at how we are over criticizing our own, and worse than, so-called people who we think wouldn't vote for us. So I did want to find that out on my own. I said, let me go and ask these people. I had no idea that many people was going to respond to the question.
So where did you do your survey at?
On Joe Biden 2020, on his page.
Okay, so
I was shocked.
I need to do a survey. I need to do a survey. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we need to talk about that. I want to do a survey. I want you to, on my goals, I usually write, when I write down my goals, I usually say, I am responsible. I am responsible. So that's saying where I am, where I've been in my life, I am responsible for being there. I don't want to put the blame on anyone. I got to look at me.
Right.
You know, Michael Jackson sung the song called "The Man in the Mirror." I believe it's the man and the woman in the mirror. You know, Saida Garrett wrote that song. I love that song. It's a powerful. Even when I hear it now,
it's beautiful.
Man in the Mirror. I'm responsible for my life. It's for me to go to the gym and do some exercise or start working out, go run, eat right. That's for me. No one could do that for me. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, it is.
Yeah.
It is true. But, you know, there are some things that we do have to look at. Say if you went to the gym when you were in the 1960s and in front of the gym it said, no blacks allowed. Then you have to leave that gym and you still got to exercise. And you still got to
you know
fight
what?
to
I
be
go
able to
make my
go
own
in.
gym.
So right, exactly. Or you got to make your own gym. And that's where the creativity has come. I have to give our people credit for having to make lemon, you know, make lemonade without the lemons, so to speak. You know, so yeah, so there are times when there's going to be barriers, but you have to see your way out of it, and you have to figure out a way to not have a syndrome which is called learned helplessness. When you learn helplessness so much that you cannot see how to get out of your circumstances, you cannot be optimistic or hopeful because you just learn helplessness so much. And that's something that we have to work on and making sure that we don't pass that on, that learned helplessness model to our children or reinforce it to adults who live within that model.
Ina Norris, why are you here?
Why am I here? I love those kind of questions. I think everyone has a divine calling. And I think deep inside, like if you can go back to when you were little, what did you do? And I can truly say I was the child who always, if there was tension, I tried to harmonize it. If there was sadness, I tried to make people laugh. So somewhere in all of this simply is to bring joy to other people. And that's why I'm here.
Okay. When I was a little boy, I remember I didn't have any brothers and sisters at the time. I was little. And eventually I got sisters, but 2 sisters. I used to play by myself. I used to have my little army men. And I got pictures of me on the bed playing with my army men. Creativity, imagination. I used to go in my room, and take a hanger and make it round and have my ball. I would close the door and I'd be in there sweating, and I'd be imagining all the players that was playing during that time. I would be shooting with the right hand, the left hand, and coming with imaginary games by myself. Then my neighbor, I had a neighbor, and I would play with him sometime, and he came with this thing called Puff. He didn't come up with it, but he got this thing called Puff basketball.